How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about SNDL's Sundial growers. I know it has been a minute, but I've been getting the messages. Someone even hit me up on Weibo saying, "Yo, Dre, I see you inside of the comment sections for SNDL. What's up with the video? Have you made any videos as of late? Have you heard about the news?" So you know what? I put this video together because of course I got you guys covered. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we got timestamps down below inside the description. But if you are a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the recent catalyst that came out for SNDL. And of course, I know you guys want to get my thoughts on it. And then afterwards, we're going to be doing a technical analysis, taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support and we want to know resistance, and look out for some key levels. I know it's been a while, so I'm going to update you guys. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and as well as the short interest information. We want to know, are shorts still heavily vested in this play, and what's going on as far as if institutions are loading up on shares again from the filings. And then we're going to take a look at the order flow distribution. Were institutions loading up on shares when this big news catalyst came through for SNDL? I think many are going to want to know this. And also, what was the reaction on the retail side? And then when all of that is done, we're going to be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So I'm going to go over the recent article that came out on Yahoo Finance in regards to the news for SNDL. So Sundial growers to acquire Alcana for 346 million, shares jumped 16.7%. Keep in mind this happened on Thursday in the after hours. Now, so Canada-based cannabis producer Sundial Growers has signed an agreement to acquire Canadian liquor retailer Alcana Inc. for approximately 340 million. Following the announcement, Sundial shares soared 16.7% in extended trade on Thursday to close at 76 cents. Alcana operates 171 locations primarily in Alberta under its brands Ace Liquor, Liquor Depot, and Wine and Beyond. As per the agreement, for each common share, Alcana shareholders will receive 10.69 common shares of Sundial based on the trailing 10-day volume-weighted average price. The CEO of Sundial, Zach George, said, "Alcana's value-focused model in liquor retailing has created market stability, and we believe that the replication of this playbook in cannabis has strong potential to drive a similar result." The acquisition, which is expected to close in December 2021 or in the first quarter of 2022, is likely to generate more than 15 million of additional EBITDA per year for Sundial through synergies and other strategic initiatives. So my thoughts on this news: I feel it is great. Sundial knows in order to be competitive, they have to make sure that they have some sort of a foothold and have some strength in regards to the retail space. By getting with Alcana, I feel like this does give them the opportunity to actually have more exposure for their cannabis products. And you could hear from when I was reading that, that is what they're looking to do on the strategic side. What we have to take into consideration here when it comes to Canada, retail is very important when it comes to the cannabis industry as a whole. There's been a lot of headwinds, there's been a lot of ups and downs, and the companies that do great are the ones that have a lot of exposure. They have a lot of access within the market. So Sundial doing this is definitely a very smart move. Another thing we have to take in consideration, what's going down inside of the US. And part of the reasons being is we want to see it being legalized on the federal level, being decriminalized. Of course, we've seen a lot of progress so far, but we need this thing to go through all the way. And you guys know exactly what I mean by that. And to be more exact, we want to get it passed through the Senate. That is the ultimate goal here. And if this does occur, I feel like it will bring a lot more momentum into Sundial stock, and it will also open up more opportunities for them. So again, I'm going to continue to keep my eyes on this play, but keep in mind, as far as for this acquisition, they are not using the cash that they have on hand, and we already know they have a lot of money. Instead, they're going to be doing this through issuing shares. So this is something you want to be aware of, and do know in regards to dilution, hey, there's a problem there. But at the same time, if they could provide value, and again, if you believe in the long-term prospects, then hey, this may be something that you feel like, you know what, this is the right move and I'm going to be sticking around for it. So now let's jump into the technical analysis. So we're going to do a technical analysis for SNDL Sundial growers. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at 68 cents, being up 5% on the day. On the low, it tested 67 cents, and then on the high, testing 74 cents. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 220.604 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days being at 99.019 million shares. So even though we did have above average volume on the day, you could tell there was a lot of selling pressure. We ended up having a strong run up in the after hours on Thursday due to the news that came out, and then the sell-off just started happening going into Friday. Now, as far as when we take a look at our chart here, we're using the 1-year daily chart. You can see from the RSI down below, we are right around 47.26. So we're on a little bit of an uptrend here. But one thing that we want to keep in mind when we take a look at our chart, we are below the 200-day, we are below the 100-day, we also are below the 50-day, and as well as for the 21-day EMA, we're pretty much right around there. It's around 68 cents, and we closed at 68 cents as well. So what you want to see going into next week is seeing some strength from SNDL, maybe trying to test back here at the 50-day around 73 cents. It did have a high at the day at 74 cents, but keep in mind, this was in the early parts of the session, and then it ended up having a sell-off. So this is why I'm saying if 68 ends up breaking, then the stock can pull back to around 63 cents. One area of support that we've seen hold up not too long ago, and it seems to be a temporary area, will be right here at this 60-cent level, and you can see we've shown that in the past as well. And I know many of you would see this as an opportunity to also add to your position, so that's something you may want to consider if it decides to pull back that far. Do keep in mind, as far as for the cannabis sector as a whole, there's not many stocks that are running up. This is usually a down time. So if SNDL wants to pull back, even though we did get that news that does show, you know what, it looks better for the company overall, this is why I said there could be an opportunity, but preferably let's see if it could hold up 60. We want to see a continuation, but if it decides to be bullish, you want to see it going back into the 70-cent range. Take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for SNDL. So scrolling down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we see what has gone down as of late in regards to filings, we have October the 8th, which was on the Friday. We have Creative Financial Design Inc. that closed out their position. But also we could see for October the 7th, which was on the Thursday for the filing, it was Newman, Digna, and Shira that went in with just over 101K shares. Keep in mind, they did not purchase shares on the date of October the 7th. I want to make sure I'm being clear about that. Now, we're going to take a look at the short interest. For the dark pool short volume ratio, it is at 54.63%. And then for the dark pool short volume being just over 80 million shares. Now, scrolling down on the page, you can see the short shares availability is at 800,000, updated 2 minutes ago. And then for the short vol free rate being at 2%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see for the close of the 6th being at 51.76, the close for the 7th, which was the end of day Thursday, being at 51.98, and then the close for October the 8th being at 54.63. So seeing this increase was not surprising whatsoever, and it's part of the reasons why we ended up seeing a lot of volatility on the Friday. SNDL does have short squeeze potential, and due to the fact that shorts are continuing to double down on their positions is part of the reasons why I say, hey, there's a chance that this stock can pull back even further. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now we're going to take a look at the order flow distribution for SNDL. So you can see here on the inflow, it's at 36.45, and on the outflow, it's at 39.60. Seeing the breakdown, we had 0 on the large for both. On the medium, it was 21.47, and then on the small, it was 14.98. Keep in mind, this is in the millions as well. When we take a look at what happened on the outflow side for the medium, it was 22.73, and then on the small, it was 16.87. So one thing that we can clearly see here, there were a lot of traders that were inside of this play. We had a lot more selling that was happening, but we did have a spike that went down in the after hours on Thursday. So having all of that selling pressure, those were just traders just taking profits. And that's one thing I want you guys to understand and be aware of. And we talked about this on the channel already. Having that strong run up occur on the Thursday, you shouldn't be shocked seeing it selling off the next day. Many people trade this stock in a 10 cents range, in a 5 cents range. And taking a look at the order flow alone, it tells me this. So one thing that you want to keep in mind is look out for this stock to pull back even more, because if it does decide to pull back, then this could provide an opportunity for anyone that believes in the long-term prospect. Or maybe you're holding a position already. But one thing to be aware of, institutions have been loading up on shares. I will be putting up a screenshot because when we take a look at what institutions have been doing, they have increased their positions a little bit. It wasn't a lot, but they have increased their positions. So now let's jump into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for SNDL Sundial growers, there's a few things that I want to go over. One thing we're aware of, there's a lot of traders going in and out of this play, trading off of the fluctuations between 10 cents to 5 cents. We know it has been trading in a very tight range, and what it's looking like is between 60 cents and as well as 70 cents. And also taking into consideration analyst price targets being at around 70 cents, and it's part of the reason why we have so much resistance. So when we ended up getting that news in the after hours on Thursday and then getting the sell-off on the Friday, I wasn't surprised about it whatsoever. It was great news for anyone that believes in the long-term prospects of SNDL, but for anyone that was swing trading it and so forth, they knew exactly what they needed to do, and that was to sell. I know many of you are not going to want to hear that, but hey, that is the reality of it. And knowing that this play does have a lot of short squeeze potential, and also taking a look at what's going down inside the cannabis industry, there's a lot of cannabis plays that are down right now. So for SNDL to actually have some momentum and actually move up from where it was in Thursday of after hours, the news had to be a lot bigger. This was not big enough, and the market told us this. So this is why I'm telling you, you want to look for another pullback if you are thinking about getting into the long term for this stock. You're also going to want to keep an eye on their next earnings report. If it ends up being bad, of course, this stock can pull back even further. And then also you have to worry about the concern of dilution, especially since they're going to be going forward with this acquisition. Am I saying that it's a bad acquisition? No, but the way that they're going about doing it, you really want to make sure you're doing your homework and you're doing your due diligence. We do know they have a very strong cash position and they are protecting that. They want to make sure they don't burn through all of that cash. So I completely understand why they did that deal the way they wanted to. So that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you found this video helpful, and we'll be talking real soon.